20 forgotten restaurants from the 1970s we all miss. The 1970s were a golden era for American dining, family-owned diners, quirky burger joints, and steakhouse chains that felt like a second home. But time hasn't been kind to all of them. Today, we're taking a nostalgic deep dive into 20 once-beloved restaurants that vanished, but never truly left our hearts. Let's step back in time. Steak and Ale. Did you know there was once a restaurant that revolutionized American dining, only to vanish almost overnight? Back in 1966, Norman E. Brinker opened the doors of Steak and Ale in Dallas, Texas, forever changing the casual dining scene. Imagine stepping into a dimly lit, cozy English tavern with wooden beams overhead, candle-lit tables, and an inviting aroma of herb-roasted prime rib filling the air. At its peak in the 1980s, this beloved steakhouse empire stretched to nearly 280 bustling locations, winning hearts with its Kensington Club steak and groundbreaking unlimited salad bar. But tastes changed in the 1990s. Competition grew fierce, and even bold marketing moves and budget-friendly menu tweaks couldn't halt its decline. Eventually, in 2008, Steak and Ale served its last meal and quietly disappeared. But nostalgia is powerful, and good ideas rarely fade away forever. Remarkably, in 2024, Steak and Ale made an emotional return, opening new restaurants across Texas and the Midwest, blending cherished classics with fresh innovations to recapture the spirit of an era many still deeply miss. Beefsteak Charlie's. There was a time when dining out meant endless steak, overflowing glasses, and memories made around a cozy table. Beefsteak Charlie's, born in Manhattan in 1910 through the vision of Charles W. Chisel, perfectly captured this golden era. Its pub-like warmth welcomed generations who eagerly crowded in for hearty steaks, massive seafood platters, and that legendary unlimited salad bar. Few today recall that in 1976, Larry Ellman breathed new life into Beefsteak Charlie's, expanding it into an East Coast favorite with over 60 bustling locations. But here's something few diners realized at the time. The restaurant's generous offer of unlimited beer, wine, and sangria became both its signature attraction and tragic downfall. By the mid-1980s, shifting dining habits and fierce competition eroded its success, leaving it financially unstable. Attempts by Bombay Palace restaurants to save the beloved brand in 1987 proved unsuccessful. Gradually, one by one, the cheerful doors of Beefsteak Charlie's closed, until the very last location quietly faded away in 2009, leaving behind only nostalgic echoes of joyful, carefree dinners. Burger Chef. Back in 1954, Frank and Donald Thomas cooked up a revolutionary concept in Indianapolis, Indiana, Burger Chef. Almost overnight, the restaurant captured hearts and appetites alike, becoming the talk of the town with mouth-watering innovations. Imagine biting into the triple threat, the nation's very first combo meal, featuring a burger, fries, and drink, all yours for just 45 cents. And let's not forget favorites, like the hearty Big Chef and the irresistible Super Chef, burgers so iconic they kept customers lining up. By 1973, Burger Chef proudly stood as one of America's largest fast food empires, boasting more than 1,000 bustling locations from coast to coast. Yet, even legends can't last forever. The 1980s brought turbulent change as Burger Chef fell into the hands of General Foods and later Imasco, owners of Hardee's. One by one, cherished burger chefs transformed into Hardee's locations, succumbing to relentless competition from giants like McDonald's and Burger King. Sadly, in 1996, the final Burger Chef flipped its last patty, quietly closing the book on a once-beloved American burger legacy leaving behind nostalgic cravings and treasured memories of simpler, tastier times. Sambo's. Remember when you could grab breakfast at a diner whose name alone could start an argument? Founded back in 1957 in sunny Santa Barbara by partners Sam Battistone Sr. and Newell Bonet, Sambo's Diner quickly became a fixture in American communities. Combining their own names and unintentionally referencing a children's story that would later spark fierce controversy, the founders created a cozy spot that specialized in fluffy pancakes, juicy burgers, and comfort food classics. Families poured in, drawn by affordable meals and colorful murals depicting scenes from The Story of Little Black Sambo. Yet, as the chain rapidly expanded to an astounding 1,117 locations by 1979, trouble simmered beneath the surface. The playful murals and name, once seemingly harmless, soon triggered protests and legal challenges over racial insensitivity. Combined with financial missteps, these issues sent the chain tumbling toward bankruptcy. By 1981, most Sambo's diners had either shut down or changed ownership, marking the end of an iconic, though controversial chapter in American dining. The final restaurant in Santa Barbara endured until 2020, when renewed public outcry after the George Floyd protests finally compelled it to change its name, quietly closing the last page on Sambo's colorful, complicated legacy. White Tower. White Tower hamburgers, first dreamed up by John E. Sachs and Thomas E. Sachs in Milwaukee in 1926, quickly earned a place in America's heart. With their bright white fortress-style buildings gleaming under the sun and stainless steel counters polished to a spotless shine, White Tower promised families like mine cleanliness and tasty simplicity. I can still picture Saturday afternoons with my dad, sliding into a booth, eagerly waiting for those miniature, perfectly square burgers to arrive, always hot off the griddle, with soft buns and melted cheese. At its height in the 1950s, White Tower proudly boasted more than 230 locations nationwide. Yet, trouble arrived early. In 1929, White Castle noticed the resemblance and swiftly took legal action, forcing White Tower to redesign its castles and pay royalties. Over the decades, despite attempts to adapt, the beloved chain struggled against fierce competition and changing tastes, quietly fading from neighborhoods one by one. Sadly, the last White Tower standing, in Toledo, Ohio, met its final end in April 2022 after a devastating fire, closing the book on a nostalgic era of hamburgers, innocence, and simple joys. Which one of these restaurants was your absolute favorite growing up? Let us know in the comments. Howard Johnson's. Few people realize the once mighty king of American road trips vanished quietly, taking with it an irreplaceable slice of nostalgia. Howard Johnson's, with its signature bright orange rooftops, began modestly in 1925 as a tiny soda fountain and ice cream stand in Quincy, Massachusetts. Soon, however, it blossomed into an iconic roadside oasis, a familiar beacon for weary travelers cruising along America's highways. Known affectionately as Hojo's, it boasted a menu filled with hearty comfort food, from crispy fried clams to classic hot dogs. Yet the real magic lay in those famous 28 flavors of ice cream, so creamy and delicious. Some customers genuinely believed Howard Johnson himself invented ice cream. Though he never claimed to, he certainly perfected it. By the 1960s and 70s, Howard Johnson's proudly operated over 1,000 bustling locations nationwide. Sadly, as years passed and competition intensified from fast food giants like McDonald's and Burger King, America's appetite shifted toward quicker, cheaper meals. Gradually, the bright lights dimmed and orange roofs faded away, leaving empty spaces and memories behind. The chain slowly dwindled, one location at a time, until 2022, when the very last Howard Johnson's in Lake George, New York, closed its doors forever, marking the quiet end of an era and leaving generations longing for one more scoop of childhood joy. Bob's Big Boy. Did you ever share fries and a shake with a smiling, oversized kid in red checkered overalls outside your local diner? Bob's Big Boy captured hearts and appetites alike, starting humbly in Glendale, California, in 1936, when Bob Wyan opened his modest burger stand known as Bob's Pantry. Just 6 months later, he created something magical, the legendary Big Boy Burger, a juicy double-decker masterpiece that soon became the soul of his growing empire. With its shiny chrome counters, checkered floors, and cozy booths, Bob's Big Boy effortlessly transported diners back to simpler days, becoming a beloved stop for families seeking hearty comfort food. At its peak, in 1989, Bob's proudly welcomed hungry guests in over 240 locations nationwide. But success wasn't meant to last forever. After selling the brand to Marriott Corporation in 1967, a revolving door of new owners and poor strategic choices gradually chipped away at the diner's charm. Financial challenges and fierce competition from emerging fast food giants accelerated its decline. Sadly, most Big Boy locations shuttered their doors for good, leaving only a handful of nostalgic survivors, mainly scattered across Southern California. Today, the iconic Burbank location stands proudly as a recognized historic landmark, a treasured reminder of birthday parties, family breakfasts, and carefree laughter echoing across generations. Sizzler. Imagine a restaurant so devoted to salads that it accidentally sabotaged its steaks. Welcome to the curious case of Sizzler. In 1958, Del and Helen Johnson opened their first family-friendly steakhouse in Culver City, California, quickly winning hearts by serving juicy steaks at wallet-friendly prices. By the mid-1960s, the aroma of sizzling steaks and grilled seafood drew hungry families into over 100 locations, making Sizzler a household name across California. But here's something many folks never knew. In the competitive frenzy of the 1980s, facing tough rivals like Outback Steakhouse and Red Lobster, Sizzler introduced an innocent-looking salad bar. Soon, though, this humble salad bar ballooned into a lavish buffet overflowing with fresh fruit, pasta salads, and countless sides, gradually overshadowing the very steaks that made them famous. Ironically, their attempt at innovation backfired, compromising quality and hurting their reputation. By 1996, financial troubles forced Sizzler into Chapter 11 bankruptcy, leading to the closure of more than 130 restaurants. Though its glory days had passed, Sizzler's story is fondly remembered by many as a cautionary yet nostalgic tale of ambition, adaptability, and how sometimes even the freshest fruit can't replace the magic of a perfectly grilled steak. Shakey's Pizza. Long before pizza meant quick delivery and quiet nights in, there was a place where every slice came with a side of jazz and laughter. It all started in 1954 when Sherwood Shakey Johnson and his friend Ed Plummer opened the very first Shakey's Pizza Parlor in Sacramento, California. Walking through Shakey's doors meant stepping into a joyful world filled with lively Dixieland jazz, bubbling laughter, and mouth-watering aromas of freshly baked pizza and crispy fried chicken. It quickly became more than just a restaurant. It was a gathering spot where families celebrated birthdays and teenagers hung out, sharing pitchers of ice-cold beer. By the 1970s, Shakey's vibrant energy and irresistible menu fueled its expansion to nearly 350 bustling locations across America. But times inevitably changed. As pizza lovers discovered the convenience of delivery and consumer tastes shifted toward home dining, Shakey's festive atmosphere gradually lost its allure. Attempts at revival came in 1984 when two franchisees took over, yet even their efforts couldn't turn the tide. Under ENOP Pacific Holdings, the decline accelerated, quietly shuttering most of Shakey's iconic restaurants. Today, those unforgettable evenings filled with music, friendship, and pizza remain a cherished memory, echoing warmly in the hearts of those lucky enough to have experienced Shakey's at its lively best. Red Barn. Ever seen a barn serving burgers? Back in 1961, in Springfield, Ohio, three friends, Don Six, Martin Levine, and Jim Kirst, built exactly that. Red Barn, a charming fast food joint shaped like a big red country barn. Families flocked there, hungry for favorites like the legendary Big Barney Burger, which remarkably debuted even before McDonald's Big Mac. Red Barn quickly became an iconic gathering spot across America, Canada, and Australia, boasting up to 400 bustling locations. They even pioneered trends, introducing the popular Barnbuster Burger and one of the earliest self-service salad bars. One hilarious memory I still recall vividly involves my Uncle Joe, who mistakenly loaded his burger with coleslaw, thinking it was shredded lettuce. He swore by it ever since. However, good times can't last forever. Trouble arose when Red Barn was acquired by City Investing Company in 1978. Sadly, their real estate interests overshadowed the burger business, leading to dwindling support and declining popularity. Eventually, franchises vanished one by one, until the very last Red Barn closed quietly in 1988. Today, nostalgic customers still smile warmly, reminiscing about simpler days when dining in a bright red barn felt special, especially if coleslaw unexpectedly found its way onto your burger. If these nostalgic restaurants brought back some great memories, hit that like button and subscribe so you won't miss our next trip down memory lane. Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor. Not many restaurants announce your dessert with sirens, drums, and a cheering crowd, but Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor was never just any restaurant. Founded in 1963 by Bob Farrell and Ken McCarthy in Portland, Oregon, Farrell's quickly captured America's heart and sweet tooth with its over-the-top ice cream creations and festive atmosphere. Every visit felt like stepping into a lively carnival from the 1890s, complete with antique decor, player pianos tinkling merrily, and smiling staff decked out in vibrant costumes straight from another era. The star attraction, known famously as the Zoo, was a gigantic sundae paraded through the restaurant with thrilling fanfare, much to the delight of kids and adults alike. By 1975, Farrell's popularity soared, expanding to over 120 locations nationwide. Yet after Marriott took control in 1972, the magic slowly melted away, unable to withstand shifting tastes and fierce competition. Though a nostalgic revival briefly sparked interest in the 2000s, the final chapter ended quietly in Brea, California, in 2019, closing the book on a beloved American tradition of unforgettable celebrations, laughter, and dessert, served with unmatched excitement. Geno's Hamburgers. Just hearing the words, Geno Giant, brings me straight back to the taste of Friday night burgers with friends. In 1957, Geno's Hamburgers came to life in Dundalk, Maryland, started by Baltimore Colts, legends Gino Marchetti and Alan Amech, alongside friends Joe Campanella and Louis Fisher. Right away, folks fell in love with their juicy signature creations, the massive Geno Giant Burger, loaded with toppings, and their premium sirloin sandwiches. Adding to their irresistible charm, Geno's cleverly partnered with Kentucky Fried Chicken, offering the Colonel's famous crispy chicken right alongside their own mouth-watering burgers. Before long, families and football fans alike crowded the booths of Geno's more than 300 locations scattered throughout the Mid-Atlantic. Yet, as the 1970s rolled into the 1980s, the beloved burger joint began feeling the heat from bigger chains. Growth slowed, profits dwindled, and eventually, Marriott Corporation stepped in, transforming most Geno's restaurants into Roy Rogers locations by 1982. For many loyal customers, it felt like losing an old friend. But while the restaurants vanished, the memories of biting into those legendary burgers, laughing with friends under bright neon lights, have lingered warmly for decades, keeping alive the legacy of a beloved eatery that once proudly served both burgers and buckets, and did it deliciously. Lum's. Have you ever tasted a hot dog steamed in beer? If you did, chances are you've got fond memories of Lum's, the quirky Miami Beach eatery founded by brothers Stewart and Clifford Perlman back in 1956. Originally just a tiny hot dog stand, Lum's quickly captured America's heart and appetite with its flavorful beer-steamed hot dogs, a delicious twist nobody else had thought of yet. By the early 1970s, Lum's was everywhere, opening over 400 vibrant locations from coast to coast, even reaching Puerto Rico and Europe. They were so successful, the Perlmans even bought the iconic Caesars Palace in Las Vegas in 1969. Soon after, in 1971, they sold Lum's to entrepreneur John Y. Brown, who tried shaking things up by introducing the Ollie Burger, a legendary recipe from Miami's famous Ollie Gleichenhaus. Unfortunately, the magic didn't last. After the Swiss company Wienerwald took ownership in 1978, financial troubles began simmering. By 1982, Lum's filed for bankruptcy, marking the start of its slow disappearance. The final restaurant quietly shut its doors in Bellevue, Nebraska, in 2017, bringing an end to a beloved chapter in casual dining. Yet, for those lucky enough to savor a beer-steamed hot dog at Lum's, the memories linger, seasoned forever by nostalgia. Henry's Hamburgers. Henry's Hamburgers once sold cheeseburgers for just 15 cents. Yes, really. And customers thought that was pretty swell. Born in Chicago in 1954 from the same folks behind Bresler's ice cream, Henry's quickly charmed hungry Americans nationwide. With the iconic brown bag special, you'd get a juicy double cheeseburger, perfectly crisp golden fries, and an icy soda, all neatly packed in a brown paper bag. Convenience and deliciousness wrapped together. By the early 60s, Henry's became a familiar sight, boasting over 200 bustling locations coast to coast, tempting customers with catchy slogans like, "Aren't you hungry for a Henry's?" Families and teens flocked there, drawn by affordable meals and irresistibly creamy milkshakes. Yet, just when it seemed Henry's couldn't lose, the fast food battlefield intensified. Giants like McDonald's flexed their muscles, and Henry's simply couldn't keep pace. Ownership shuffles and corporate mergers within Bresler's only added to the confusion, closing doors faster than they could open them. Today, just a single Henry's remains in Benton Harbor, Michigan, holding strong by leaning into nostalgia and adapting its menu to local cravings. For those who remember its glory days, Henry's still conjures mouth-watering memories of tasty burgers, lively chatter, and the innocent joy of pulling greasy fries from a humble brown bag. Tell me, if you could bring back just one of these iconic restaurants today, which would it be and why? Minnie Pearl's Chicken. They say Minnie Pearl's Chicken was finger-licking good, when they remembered to cook it right, that is. Named after the beloved country comedian Minnie Pearl, whose real name was Sarah Ophelia Colley Cannon, this quirky chicken chain hit the scene back in 1966. Launched by two ambitious attorneys from Nashville, Tennessee, Minnie Pearl's Chicken hoped to ride the wave of America's growing fried chicken craze, boldly competing with Colonel Sanders himself. From its cheerful logo featuring Minnie's iconic straw hat to the down-home Southern hospitality, folks quickly lined up to give it a try. Within just a few short years, over 100 franchises sprang up across the country. But here's the funny thing. Success didn't exactly follow. Unfortunately, quality wasn't Minnie Pearl's strong suit. Sometimes the chicken arrived crispy and delicious, while other times it seemed they'd forgotten the fryer altogether. Behind the scenes, things got even messier with accusations of inflated revenues and shady stock manipulation. By 1973, facing dwindling customer trust and mounting financial scandals, Minnie Pearl's chicken crumbled faster than overcooked biscuits, quietly closing most locations. Despite its troubles, those who visited still fondly recall Minnie's chicken as a quirky, charming experiment, a tasty yet imperfect memory of America's fried chicken past. Bill Knapp's. Getting older had at least one tasty perk, especially if you celebrated your birthday at Bill Knapp's. Established back in 1948 by Clinton B. Knapp in the cozy town of Battle Creek, Michigan, this beloved restaurant quickly won folks over with home-style cooking that tasted just like Sunday dinners at Grandma's house. Families came from miles around for crispy golden fried chicken, savory ham croquettes, hearty bowls of bean soup, and slices of chocolate cake so decadent they'd practically melt in your mouth. But what truly set Bill Knapp's apart was their famous discount. Diners enjoyed savings equal to their age on birthdays and anniversaries, delighting grandpas everywhere. At its height, Bill Knapp's warmly welcomed guests in over 60 locations throughout Michigan, Ohio, Florida, Illinois, and Indiana. Unfortunately, as loyal customers grew older, younger generations chose trendier spots, leaving Bill Knapp's struggling in the 90s. An unsuccessful attempt to modernize in 1998, coupled with a damaging listeria outbreak, further tarnished their beloved reputation. By 2002, the financial burdens became overwhelming, forcing Bill Knapp's into Chapter 11 bankruptcy and the quiet closure of every remaining location. Yet, the comforting tastes and joyful memories remain, warmly tucked into the hearts of those lucky enough to have gathered around Bill Knapp's tables. Wags. Who knew Walgreens could flip pancakes as skillfully as prescriptions? Back in 1975, Walgreens took an unexpected leap into the diner scene, launching Wags, a cozy family restaurant serving comfort food favorites like juicy burgers and hearty breakfasts around the clock. Modeled after iconic eateries like Denny's and Big Boy, Wags quickly captured the hearts of night owls, hungry families, and folks craving affordable, late-night bites. With neon signs glowing cheerfully through the night, Wags became a beloved destination in Chicago and Florida, offering warm booths, endless coffee, and friendly smiles, even at 2 a.m. Yet despite the initial buzz, Walgreens decided to step away, selling all 91 thriving locations to Marriott in 1988. Sadly, Marriott struggled to find the right recipe, leading to confusion, poor management, and dwindling enthusiasm from once loyal customers. Gradually, the familiar glow faded, replaced by new Shoney's restaurants or empty buildings. By 1991, the doors had quietly closed for good, marking an unexpectedly swift end to a once popular gathering spot. Though Wags is long gone, memories linger warmly. Late-night laughter, buttery pancakes at sunrise, and the surprising legacy of a pharmacy giant cooking up comfort alongside prescriptions. Royal Castle. Believe it or not, Florida once had its very own castle. No moats or knights, just mouth-watering little burgers and ice-cold birch beer. Royal Castle, founded in 1938 by William Singer in sunny Miami, quickly became the South's answer to the North's White Castle, capturing hearts with tiny square burgers topped generously with minced onions and tangy pickles. Alongside those craveable mini burgers, Royal Castle delighted customers with freshly squeezed orange juice and hearty breakfasts that kept diners coming back morning after morning. By the booming 1960s, Royal Castle's neon signs lit up streets across Florida, Georgia, Ohio, and Louisiana, proudly operating over 175 bustling locations. Yet good times didn't last forever. When fast food giants like McDonald's and Burger King stormed the market in the 1970s, Royal Castle struggled to keep pace. Things took another turn in 1969 when Performance Systems took ownership, only to face money troubles and declining standards shortly afterward. Quality faltered, loyal customers drifted away, and by 1975 the once thriving chain quietly closed its doors, leaving behind only fond memories. Today, those lucky enough to remember Royal Castle still smile warmly, recalling Midnight Burger Run and the nostalgic taste of simpler days in a southern castle where flavor ruled without needing a king. Brown Derby. Can you imagine a time when Hollywood's elite ate their salads inside a restaurant shaped exactly like a giant hat? Founded in 1926 by Wilson Misner, Herbert K. Somborn, and legendary movie producer Jack Warner, the Brown Derby quickly became the hottest ticket in Los Angeles dining. Standing boldly on Wilshire Boulevard, this whimsical, hat-shaped eatery was the ultimate symbol of glamour, attracting silver screen icons like Clark Gable and Judy Garland, who dined beneath cartoonish caricatures of themselves. Beyond its quirky design, the Derby served unforgettable dishes, including the now famous Cobb salad, tossed tableside by co-founder Robert H. Cobb himself. Yet, as America's tastes shifted toward casual dining in the 1970s, the restaurant's polished, upscale image became harder to sustain. Rising costs and dwindling customers meant tough times, and, gradually, the Derby's glamorous glow faded. By 1980, the original Wilshire location closed, and the rest soon followed. Today, the Brown Derby lives only in fond memories of old Hollywood, the days when dining was a glamorous event, and even salad had star power. Pup and Taco. What if I told you there was once a place bold enough to serve hot dogs and tacos under the same roof, and somehow make it work? Pup and Taco burst onto the California dining scene in 1956, dreamed up by Russell Wendell as a humble drive-in in sunny Pasadena. Before long, its quirky menu of crispy tacos, juicy burgers, flavorful pastrami sandwiches, and perfectly grilled hot dogs made it an instant local hit. Families cruised into parking spots, laughing over sweet, icy slushes and sipping on refreshing cups of RC Cola beneath neon lights that painted the night sky. At its height, Pup and Taco proudly operated over 100 locations across Southern California and even a few beloved spots in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But success can attract powerful rivals, and by the 1980s, booming property prices combined with fierce competition from giants like McDonald's and Taco Bell spelled trouble. Seeing opportunity, Taco Bell swiftly stepped in, purchasing 99 prime Pup and Taco spots in 1984, gradually erasing the brand from the fast food map. The last remaining Albuquerque location quietly closed its doors in 2013, leaving behind only memories, deliciously strange ones, of a daring diner that combined unlikely tastes and made every meal an adventure worth remembering. These restaurants may be gone, but their flavors and memories live on. Did we miss any favorites from your childhood? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this nostalgic journey, please like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our next delicious trip down memory lane. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.